Okay, well, I know Tom said that he had a family event this evening, so he's not going to be with us, maybe a little bit later. I see Adrian is with us tonight, and and Kate is with us. Kate,
Hi, Kate.
Kate has been joining us on YouTube. She's been watching some of the things that we've done in the past, and last night she joined us for the first time. And so she asked if she could join this, and of course I said yes. I don't think Kate has the tech, so Kate, please just follow along as best you can. Just listen, and try and get the rhythm of what we're doing. This is what we call a Ngondro practice, and the Ngondro practice are the four inner preliminary practices to enable one to practice the fivefold path of Mahamudra. So it's very important, and this is something that normally would be done in the monastery by those who have been in the monastery for a number of years and have reached the point of being like 19, 20 years old, 21 years old. And they would go into a 3-year retreat. And during this 3-year retreat, the first thing that they would do would be these Ngondro practices, these 4 Ngondro practices. And then when they were completed after about the first year of that 3-year retreat, then they would continue on doing the fivefold path of Mahamudra practices. So without going into a lot of detail, it's very profound and very fundamental to everything else that happens in the life of the Buddhist practitioners in Tibet, especially the monastics. So here in the West, we've been trying to encourage people to take up the Ngondro practice, and it's going to take much longer than a year or 2 years or 3 years for most people, because people are working and have priorities. But there is a great deal of benefit that can be derived by taking up these practices. So we can talk more about that later on. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction to what it is that we are doing.
Lance,
Yes.
if I can grab a copy of Ngondro Refuge Practice, do you want me to see if I can drop it in chat for Kate?
Sure, that's fine. Yeah, if
Well,
Kate would like to do that, pick it up in the chat. That'd be great.
See if I can grab it.
Okay. So tonight we're going to do we're going to begin with the refuge, and then we're going to go to the Vajrsattva. So we're going to go all the way through doing both of those. Okay. So Kate is saying, yes, please go ahead and do that. That's great. So one thing that, at the closure of the practices that we've been doing over the, past couple of years, we do Om Ah Hong, Om Ah Hong, Om Ah Hong, and we visualize our body, speech, and mind becoming, inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones. This is like a prostration that we are doing, this prostration. So I think, moving forward now, I think it would be really good to begin our sessions with doing these prostrations as well. It may not be convenient for us all to get down on the floor and do these prostrations, but I think that to create the mindfulness of what it is that we're doing, and if we were in the shrine room at the temple, we would be doing these things. And if you are home and actually doing these practices, that you would do these prostrations as well. So it's very important to establish that mindfulness. So if we can, so we begin when we enter the room and we're facing the altar. We see the picture of the Buddha or the statue of the Buddha and the other enlightened ones that are in the shrine room or maybe in your home and so on, that we do this. So we begin by say Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong. Om Ah Hong. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones. Okay, so now we go to the first page of the text that is the preliminary practices of the incomparable Drikung Kagyu. So we're on page 1, the introduction, and this is refuge. So I'm going to go through this. Everybody can follow along and can read out loud. We should keep our microphones muted, otherwise there's too much feedback. But do recite out loud. It's a very important part of our practices to do everything out loud. So for the benefit of all sentient beings, the most gracious Buddha Shakyamuni spoke the Dharma through the sutras and tantras. The 5 profound paths of Mahamudra and the 6 yogas of Naropa are the essence of the Buddha's teachings, which enable one to attain enlightenment even in one lifetime. However, to practice the path of Mahamudra and the 6 yogas of Naropa, one must be fully convinced of the 4 ways of turning the mind, or the 4 ordinary foundations. The 4 ways of turning the mind are the basis for the successful practice of any of the yanas. Then one practices the 4 extraordinary foundations, or the Vajranyana Ngondro, to purify the negative karma and obscurations of the mind, speech, and body, and to develop virtues. The great 12th century Tibetan saint, Lord Jigden Sumgun, the second Nagarjuna, said, "The Ngondro is even more important than the higher practices. One must truly understand and practice the simple yet profound foundational teachings before one begins the higher teachings." So now page 2 is the altruistic motivation. So I'll recite twice in English, once in Tibet. Everybody can follow along. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. All mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and omniscience, may they experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly I will establish them in the state of the most perfect and precious Buddhahood. Dagla dang wa je pe dra no pa je pe ge. Tar pa dang tam she ken pe bar du jo par je pa tam she ki so je pe. Ma nam ka dam yam pe sem chen tam she de wa dang ten. Dug now dang drel nur du la na me pa yang dag par zog pe zhang ju brin po she to pa ja. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. They she du sang ma ge gi bar du lu na gi sam ge wa la ko. Ma she bar du lu na gi sam ge wa la ko. Du de ring ne song te ni ma sang ta sam gi bar du lu na gi sam ge wa la ko. We take refuge in the kind root Lama, page 4. All sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in the glorious kind Lama Vajradhara, the embodiment of the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, source of the 84,000 categories of the teachings, and Lord of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Back to page 4 in Tibet. Nam ke da dam yam pe sem chen tam she chok chu du sam gi de shin sek pa tam she gi ku song tong ten dog yon ten trin le tam she gi no war jur pa choki pom po ton chak ga chu ta che jun ne pak pe ge dun tam she gi na da Drin sen sa wa danger pa je pe pal dan lama dam pa nam la kap su chi o. Ye dam kil gorgi la sok nam la kap su chi o. Sangye chom den de nam la kap su chi o. Dam pe cho nam la kap su chi o. Pape ge dun nam la kap su chi o. Pavo kajo cho kyong song me song yashe gi cheng dang dem pa nam la kap su chi o. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path. Shangshu Ningpo Chiki Bar Nam La, Shangshu Ningpo Chiki Bar Sangye Nam La Kapsu Chi Chodang Shangshu Sampa Yi Soklang Deshin Kapsu Chi Jitar Nonggi Deshegi Shangshu Tukni Ki Padang Shangshu Sampe La Pala De Dagrim Shin E Patar De Shin Drola Pendandu Shangshu Sanni Ki Gishing De Shin Du Ni La Pala Rinpa Shindu La Parji O. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. Sangye chodang soki chodam la Shangshu Bardu Dagni Kapsu Chi Dagi Jinso Ki Pe Sonam Drola Penchir Sangye Jupasho. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Manam kadam yam pesam chantam she dewadang dewe gurdang dempar jurchi. Dug now dang du now gi gudang drawar jurchi. Dug now me pe dewadang mi drawar jurchi. Ne ring jag dang ni dang dra wei tang nam la ne pa jo chi. Whatever merit I have gathered through prostrations, offering, confession, rejoicing, requesting, and praying for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Chaksa wadang cho ching sa pa dang, Jesu yi rang kol sing so wa yi, ge wa jung se da gi ji sak pa, tam she zog pe shang shub chi no. 4 ways of turning the mind to the Dharma. Number 1. Oh, this kind of leisure and endowment is supremely difficult to obtain. When we obtain this body, which is easily lost, do not waste it meaninglessly, but rather use it to attain the ultimate liberation, joyous result. Now, contemplate the meaning of precious human life. We have this precious human life, so you can reread this first prayer. Contemplate the meaning that we have this precious human life to be able to recognize and practice the Dharma. Okay, next. The nature of all phenomena is impermanence. Death is a certainty to all who are born. Death can descend any time like a drop of morning dew on a blade of grass. Quick, it is time to make effort for the essence of Dharma. So now contemplate the meaning of impermanence. Next, number 3. The fruit of one's positive karma is happiness. Suffering is the fruit of negative karma. The inexorable karmic causation is the mode of abiding of all dharmas. Henceforth, practice the Dharma by distinguishing between what should be practiced and what should be given up. Contemplate the meaning of karma, cause, and result. Now, number 4. In the 3 lower realms, and even in the 3 higher ones, there is not an instant of absolute happiness. I will avoid the root cause of my samsaric existence and practice the excellent path of peace to enlightenment. Contemplate the meaning of the suffering of samsara, the faults of samsara. Okay. Now we recite the Sanskrit alphabet and we visualize a protection circle around our heart center. And this protection circle are all the dakinis that are standing shoulder to shoulder in a circle facing the heart center and making offerings to the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas that are in the heart center, offering to them that they may bring us, show us enlightenment, show us Dharma, and so on. So their names are reflected in the Sanskrit alphabet. So each one of their names is one syllable of the alphabet. So we recite this, making these offerings. Om, a, I, u, vi, li, e, o, a, kaka, gagana, zaza, zazana, tata, dadana, papa, babama, yawalawa, sa, ka, saha, kriya, soha. Oma, I, vi, li, e, o, a, kaka, gagana, zaza, zazana, tata, dadana, papa, babama, yawalawa, sa, saha, kriya, soha. Oma, I, vi, li, e, o, a, kaka, gagana, zaza, zazana, tata, dadana, baba, babama, yawalawa, sa, ka, saha, kriya, soha. Om Yadharma, Hetu Prabhava, Hetu Takan Tadagato, Heawa Tatata, Takanso, Yonarada, Evamwadi, Mashamani, Soha. Om Yadharma, Hetu Prabhava, Hetu Takan Tadagato, Heawa Tatata, Takanso, Yonarada, Evamwadi, Mashamani, Soha. Om Yadharma, Hetu Prabhava, Hetu Takan Tadagato, Heawa Tatata, Takanso, Yonarada, Evamwadi, Mashamani, Soha. All phenomena arise from causes. Those causes have been taught by the Tathagata. The cessation, too, has been proclaimed by the great ascetic, the Shramaniye. So be it. Page 18 and 19. We recite the English first on page 19, then we recite in the Sanskrit on page 18 3 times with melody. Om Vajrsattva Samaya, help to protect my vow to purify myself. May you remain firm with me. Grant me the complete satisfaction. Grow with me. Be loving towards me. Grant me the attainments to master the powers beyond body and nature. Show me all the deeds of body, speech, and mind. Make my mind heart good, virtuous, and auspicious. Revel in the bliss of the four joys, O Blessed One, who embodies the essence within me. Do not abandon me. Grant me the realization of the indestructible nature. Make me one with you. Thus I signify my unity with non-duality. Ah. Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrsattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sitsa Me Sitsantriya Kuruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Saratada Gata Bajra Mame Munsa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Kuruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Saratada Gata Bajra Mame Munsa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Suto Kayo Me Bhava Supo Kayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Kuruham Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Saratada Gata Bajra Mame Munsa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Satwaha. Now the increasing mantras on page 20 is in the Sanskrit, and on 21 is the transliteration along with the English translation. So we recite these 7 times. Om Sambar Sambar Bimanasar Mahazamba Hung. 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 English. Arising from a defiled mind, be reborn into great wisdom. Om Smar Smar Bimanaskar Mahazambu Hong Pe. 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 English, arising from defiled lives, remember and purify the flower of wisdom. Om Sambar Sambar Mahazambu Hong Pe. 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 Arising great holy wisdom, purify this life. Now we bless the mala beads. We hold the beads with our right hand on the guru bead, and with our left hand we take the beads and we hurl them in a clockwise direction. The guru bead is standing up top, and we put that in between our fingers and we hold it like this. And we recite, Om Ruchi Ramana Pravataya Hong Pe. 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 English. The enlightened body, speech, and mind are the precious Dharma protectors, whose mirror-like wisdom is the door to purification. Om Sri Padmanarti Shvari Hung. 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 The body, speech, and mind of pure love is the ultimate wisdom. The ultimate wisdom is pure love. And we blow on the beads, and now we recite Om Ah Hung, visualizing that our body, speech, and mind becomes inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened ones. Om Ah Hung, 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 Om Ah Hung. Om Ah Hum. So now we come to page 24, and this is the taking refuge. So we're taking refuge in the three jewels. We're taking refuge in the lineage, the Drikonkagyu lineage. So each tradition, each different lineage of Buddhism has their own Ngondro practice, which is basically the same as this, but with a little bit of difference. So this is specifically for the Drikung Kagyu. So we recite the benefits of taking refuge on page 24. If the merit of taking refuge in the triple gem could manifest in form, the whole universe could not contain it. Even though attempting to describe the infinite benefits of practicing refuge is like attempting to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. There are 8 benefits as explained in the jewel ornament of liberation. 1 becomes a Buddhist. It becomes the basis of all the precepts and vows. It exhausts all previous non-virtuous deeds. It protects one from obstacles created by humans and non-human. One accomplishes all one wishes. One gathers a great amount of merit. One will not fall into the lower realms. One attains Buddhahood swiftly. Refuge practice is the essence of all other practices. Therefore, one always should emphasize this practice. It has inconceivable beneficial effects. Through this practice, one can achieve the fearless state. Now, with one point in mind, take refuge in the 3 jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Meditate the surroundings as inseparable from a Buddha field. In the space in front of me is a lion throne on which are a lotus, sun, and moon disk seat, in the center of which sits the kind root Lama in the form of Vajradhara with the 7 characteristics. Blue in color, 2 arms, holding a Vajra and bell crossed at the heart and gracefully sitting in the Vajra position. Adorned by the silken robes and various precious jewel ornaments, and surrounded by all the lineage lamas. In front of the lion throne is the Yidam Chakra Samvara, the male and female aspects in union, whose manifestation is simultaneously appearance and emptiness. At the right side of the throne is the assembly of the Buddhas of the 3 times, possessing all the auspicious signs of a Buddha, together with the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate kalpa. Behind the throne is the Prajnaparamita, proclaiming the relative and ultimate meaning of the 3 yanas. To the left of the throne is the assembly of the compassionate bodhisattvas, surrounded by the Sangha of the 3 yanas. Around the base of the throne are the Dharmapalas, an ocean of guardians gathered like clouds. So tonight we won't do the Tibetan recitation. The most important part is to understand the meaning in our own language. So in these instructions like this, to just do the English is okay. So if we have more time, if we were doing more instruction, we would do the Tibetan, but tonight we'll skip that. But we will recite the Refuge Prayer in English and in Tibetan. So we're on page 28. Buddhas, Dharma, Sanghas, Yidams, and Dharma protectors, to these supreme objects of refuge, for protection from the hordes of suffering of samsara, we, all migrators, go for refuge until enlightenment is attained. Buddhas, Dharma, Sanghas, Yidams, and Dharma protectors, to these supreme objects of refuge, for protection from the hordes of suffering of samsara, we, all migrators, go for refuge until enlightenment is attained. Sangye cho sogli dam cho kyong che, kab chog nam la dak sog jo wa kun, si pe jik sog nam na le kyob chi, shang ju ma to bardu kyab su chi. I rejoice when all sentient beings are happy and free from the samsaric suffering and swiftly attain ultimate Buddhahood. For this purpose, from now on until I achieve enlightenment, I will follow the path to the ultimate goal. I rejoice when all sentient beings are happy and free from the samsaric suffering and swiftly attain ultimate Buddhahood. For this purpose, from now on until I achieve enlightenment, I will follow the path to the ultimate goal. Jokonde dang dugnel jawe dang, nor du la me to par dagyawe. De chi dangene changshu ma to bar, ne pe dong chog lam la jug pa ja. Page 30. So this is the Refuge Prayer. And this is, now we will recite this one time in English and one time in Tibet. And then we will get up and do prostrations. So we recite these. We'll do 6 prostrations while we recite this in English and Tibet. So first, while we're seated. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Yidams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Transcend Sawa Dangur Pa Jepe Paldan Lama Dampa Namla Kapsu Chio Yedam Kilgorgi La Sok Namla Kapsu Chio Sangye Chomdende Namla Kapsu Chio Dampe Cho Namla Kapsu Chio Pape ge dun nam la kapsu chio. Pawo ka jo cho kyong song mei song yeshe gi cheng dang dempa nam la kapsu chio. Now do the prostrations as best you can. If you just remain seated and the body, speech, and mind, the Buddha, the Dharma, Sangha, that's fine. If you can get down on the floor and do them, I'll explain these prostrations another time for the benefit of Kate. But for right now, we'll continue. In the Buddha, the Dharma, by the Twin Sense of Wadan Gurpar, J.P. Paldan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Yudam Kilgorgi La Sok Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Sange Jom Dende Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Dampecho Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Papege Du Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Awoka Ju Chugam Me, Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Twin Sense of Wadan Gurpar, J.P. Paldan Lama, Dampa Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Yudam Kilgorgi La Sok Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Sange Jom Dende Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Dampecho Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Pepege Du Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Pawoka Jo Chukyo Me Shung Yasheki Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Twin Sons of Wadan Gurpar, J.P. Paldan Lama Dampa Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Yudam Kilgorgi La Sok Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Sange Chom Dende Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Dampecho Namla Kapsu Chiyo, Pepege Du Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Kawoka Du Chukyo Me Shung Yashegi, Cheng Deng Dampa Namla Kapsu Chiyo. Okay. Normally we would do 25, 50, 108, 200, 300, 400 at a sitting. Today we're just doing a few. So now we come back to page Page 31 at the bottom. Here it says, note, recite the refuge prayer as many times as possible. Meditate that the refuge visualization dissolves into oneself and one dissolves into emptiness. So now we rest in the natural state. So just for a moment, we just collect ourselves and visualize that all the lineage tree that we described earlier in this practice is all dissolving into light and dissolving into us. Okay. So now we visualize the protection fence again. This time the dakinis are facing the outside with their back towards the heart center, and they're facing a circle outside in order to protect the deities within, but also to welcome and to protect those coming in. Uh-oh, I just locked up. Stand by. I'm going to have to reboot. Do it all.
The new definition of bandwidth.
That's right. Okay. So I was explaining about the protection circle. So now the dakinis are all facing the outside of the circle in order to protect those who wish to come, but also to protect the integrity of inside at the heart center. That if there's any vulnerability, that it's protected.
And
So
what page are we back on?
we're on page 32.
Thank you.
So we recite, and this time this is the mudra of protection. So our left hand is at our right shoulder, at our left shoulder in protection, and the right hand is in the giving mudra at our right knee. So we're giving protection. And we recite, Om, A, I, U, Ri, Li, A, O, Ang, A, Kaka, Gaga, Na, Zaza, Na, Da, Na, Da, Na, Ba, Ma, Yawalawa, Saha, Krasa, Soha. Om, A, I, U, Ri, Li, A, O, Ang, A, Kaka, Gaga, Na, Zaza, Na, Da, Na, Da, Na, Ba, Ma, Yawalawa, Saha, Krasa, Soha. Om, A, I, U, Ri, Li, A, O, Ang, A, Kaka, Gaga, Na, Zaza, Na, Da, Na, Da, Na, Ba, Ma, Yawalawa, Saha, Kriya, Soha. So now we recite again these prayers that we recited earlier. We're reciting these again. We only do the Sanskrit at this point. Om Yadharma, Hetu Prabhava, Hetu Takan Tadagato, Hea Watatata, Takansa, Yonarada, Ewamwadi, Ma Shamani, Soha. Om Yadharma, Hetu Prabhava, Hetu Takan Tadagato, Hea Watatata, Takansa, Yonarada, Ewamwadi, Ma Shamani, Soha. Om Yadharma, Hetu Prabhava, Hetu Takan Tadagato, Hea Watatata, Takansa, Yonarada, Ewamwadi, Ma Shamani, Soha. Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrsattva Tenopa Dristadredo Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anuraktu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sora Karma Sutsume Sitsantriya Kuru Hong Ha Ho Bhagawan Sara Tathagata Vajrabhame Mansa Vajribhava Mahasamaya Sattvaha. Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrsattva Denoba Justadredo Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anuraktu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Guru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sara Tathagata Vajrabhame Mansa Vajribhava Mahasamaya Sattvaha Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrsattva Tenopa Justadredo Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Supokayo Mebawa Anuraktu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsu Me Sitsantriya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sara Tathagata Vajrabhame Mansa Vajribhava Mahasamaya Sattvaha. So now page 34 is the increasing for the practice. This is the mantras for multiplying the practice, that we continue to come back and do these practices over and over again. So on page 34 is the Tibetan and the Sanskrit, and then on page 35 is the transliteration and the English. So we'll recite the transliteration and then the English one time, 7 times each. Teata pensadriva avo bodhanaya soha. 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 This is it. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 5 families in the 3 times, who have destroyed all defilements, lead to equipoise of the enlightened mind. Om Ru Ru Daru Muki Muki Soha. 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 The enlightened body, speech, and mind of the peaceful and wrathful deities is the Buddha. Om Dai Dai Bendai Soha. 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 The body, speech, and mind of the Buddha is the cause for enlightenment of all sentient beings. Om Hanu Bashabara Hridaya Soha. 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 The bliss and strength in the heart center of the Buddha is equipoise. Now we take our beads and we recite again Om Ahong, a mile around, visualizing our body, speech, and mind becoming inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones. Om Ahong, 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 Om Ahong. Om 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 Okay. Then page 36. The objects of refuge dissolve into the main figure, and he dissolves into your crown. Kabyo Koronam So Wodang De Yang Wudu Serne Rang La Tempagyo. So we visualize that Rajadar, Dorje Chang, the primordial Buddha, melts into light and dissolves into us through the crown of our head into our heart center. We have a short meditation. Okay. Well, please forgive me because I carried on and I forgot to go to the Vajrsattva part. So now we go to the next text, which is the Vajrsattva. It says Vajrsattva Durje Sempa meditation and recitation for purification practice. The second section of the Drikung Kagyu Ngondro. So, Kate, I hope that if Michael was able to send that to you. If you have that, if you don't have that, just follow along. But right after we would have done the prostrations, we would have gone to this part here, and I forgot. So now we go to page 5 of that text, and we recite. Above the crown of my head, I visualize a white lotus with a moon disk seat. On this is the syllable hung, which transforms into a Vajra Dorje with a hung in its center. From this hung, light radiates, purifying the obscurations of all beings. The light is offered to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. The light returns and dissolves into the seed syllable hung. The hung then transforms into Dorje Sempa, who is the essence of our own kind root Lama. Dorje Sempa is white in color and holds a Dorje and bell. He sits gracefully in the half lotus position. He wears silken robes and all the precious ornaments. And we make offerings to Vajrsattva, is his Sanskrit name, and Dorje Sempa is his Tibetan name. And both mean the holy enlightened being who purifies. So we make these offerings. We did these offerings last night when we did Medicine Buddha. So we're offering drinking water, washing water, flowers, incense, light, perfume, food, and music. Om Vajrsattva Saparivara Argam Pratitsa Soha. Om Sarva Vajrsattva Saparivara Padyam Pratitsa Soha. Om Vajrsattva Saparivara Pushpam Pratitsa Soha. Om Vajrsattva Saparivara Dupam Pratitsa Soha. Om Vajrsattva Saparivara Alokam Pratitsa Soha. Om Vajrsattva Saparivara Gande Pratitsa Soha. Om Vajrsattva Saparivara Nuitaya Pratitsa Soha. Om Vajrsattva Saparivara Shabda Pratitsa Soha. The praise. Vajrasattva Mahasattva, the great mind, the embodiment of all the Buddhas, the Samantabhadra Dharmakaya. I prostrate to the holder of the Vajra. So then we go back and recite that in Tibet. Dorje Sampa Sampache, Dorje Deshin Sekpa Kun, Dorje Dangpo Kun Tuzang, Shaksal Chana Dorje Lao. At Dorje Sempa's heart level is a Dorje on a moon disk. At the center of the Dorje is a Hung syllable, surrounded by the 100-syllable mantra. The light radiating from the rotating mantra completely purifies the obscurations of all beings, and they become Dorje Sempas. The light returns and dissolves into the mantra and the seed syllable Hung. Nectar produced from these syllables flows through the right great toe of Dorje Sempa. It enters the crown of my head, purifying all defilements, illness, and obscurations through the pores of the skin and the two lower openings of my body. The obscurations leave the body in the form of a smoky dark liquid. Then I am filled with nectar and completely purified as crystal. So here we visualize that Vajrasattva, Dorje Sempa, is sitting on our head, and that all the blessings from all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas is all coming into him as nectar. And the nectar then comes down from his big toe into the aperture at the crown of our head. And the nectar fills into our body, pushing out all the negativity and all the defilements through the lower sense doors of our body. And our body becomes full of the essence of the nectar of bodhicitta. So being purified. So this is the visualization as we are reciting the mantra now, which is the 100-syllable purification mantra that we've already recited several different times. So we'll recite it with a melody, and then we'll move into doing it as a chant. So we're on page number 9. And if you need to look at the translation of it, it was back in the English translation was back in the first part with the refuge. You can go back and take a look at that. So now we begin and we visualize Vajrasattva on our head and the nectar coming into our body. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Jistadredo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sarasiddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Kuruhum Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara Tada Gata Bajra Mame Munsa Bajri Bhava Mahasamaya Sattva Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anuraktu me bhava, sara siddhi me prayatsa, sara karma sutta me, sitsantriya kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan, sara tada gata bhajra mame mansa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrsattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sora Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sora Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sora tada gata bhajra mame manja bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutta me sitsantriya kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara tada gata bhajra mame mansa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrsattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsa Me Sitsantriya Kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara tada gata bhajra mame munsa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutta me sitsantriya kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara tada gata bhajra mame mansa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrsattva Tenopa Dristadredo Me Bhava Sutokayo Me Bhava Supokayo Me Bhava Anuraktu Me Bhava Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutta Me Sitsantriya Kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara tada gata bhajra mame munsa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutta me sitsantriya kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara tada gata bhajra mame munsa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutta me sitsantriya kuruham. Ha 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 ho Bhagavan Sara tada gata bhajra mame munsa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava sara siddhi me prayatsa sara karma sutsa me sitsantriya kuruham ha 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 hu bhagavan sara tada gata bhajra mame mansa bhajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutsa me Sitsantriya kuruham Ha 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 ho bhagavan Saratada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutsa me Sitsantriya kuruham Ha 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 ho bhagavan Sara tada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sitsa me Sitsantriya kuruham Ha 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 ho bhagavan Saratada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutsa me Sitsantriya kuruham Ha 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 ho bhagavan Saratada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutsa me Sitsantriya kuruham Ha 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 ho bhagavan Saratada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sara karma sutsa me Sitsantriya kuruham Ha 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 ho bhagavan Saratada gata bajra mame munsa bajri bhava mahasamaya satvaha. May take a drink. If you need to take a break, you can take a break right now. Come right back, please. Om Vajrsattva samaya manupalaya Vajrsattva tenopa dristadredo me bhava Sutokayo me bhava Supokayo me bhava Anuraktu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayatsa Sora Karma Sutsume, Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong, Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan, Sora Tada Gata, Bajro Bame Mansa, Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha. Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrsattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansa Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansa Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsandriya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansi Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansa Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansa Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansa Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansi Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansi Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansa Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sara Karma Sutsume Sitsan Triya Kuru Hong Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sara Tata Gata Bajra Bame Mansa Bajri Baba Maha Samaya Satwaha Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrasattva Tenopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Suto Kayo Mebawa Supo Kayo Mebawa Anurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Me Prayatsa Sora karma sotu me sitantriya guru hong ha 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 ho bhagavan sora tata gata bajra bami maji bajri bhava ma sameya satwa ha om bajra savu sameya manu balaya Vajrsattva deno ba Vajrsattva me bhava Sudogayo me bhava Subogayo me bhava Anurektu me bhava Sara siddhi me prayata Sara karma satu me Sitantriya guru hong ha ha ho bhagavan Sara tata gata Bajra bami maji Bajra bhava ma sameya savaha Om Vajrasattva sameya manu palaya Vajrsattva deno ba Vajrsattva me bhava Sudokayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Nurektu me bhava, Zara siddhi me prayata, Zara karma satu me, Sitantriya guru hong. Ha ha ho bhagavan, Zara tata gata, Bajra bami maji, Bajra bhava ma sameya savaha, Om Vajrasattva sameya, Manu palaya, Vajrasattva deno ba, Vajrsattva me bhava, Sudokayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Nurektu me bhava, Sora siddhi me prayata Sara karma satu me Sitantriya guru hong ha ha bhagavan Sara tata gata Bajra bhava mami Bajra bhava ma sameya savaha Om Vajrasattva sameya manu palaya Vajrasattva deno ba Dristadredo me bhava, Sudogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Anurektu me bhava, Sora siddhi me prayata, Sara karma satu me, Sitantriya guru hong, ha 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 ho, bhagavan, Sara tata gata, Bajra bami maji, Bajra bhava ma, sameya sadvaha, Om Vajrasattva sameya, manu palaya, Vajrasattva deno ba, Dristadredo me bhava, Sudogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Anurektu me bhava, Sara siddhi me prayata, Sara karma satu me, Sitantriya guru hong, ha ha ho bhagavan, Sara tata gata, Bajra bami maji, Bajra bhava ma sameya satvaha, Om Vajrasattva sameya, manu palaya, Vajrasattva deno ba, Vajrsattva me bhava, Sudogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Nurektu me bhava, Sora siddhi me prayata, Sara karma satu me, Sitantriya guru hong, ha 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 ho bhagavan, Sora tata gata, Bajra bami maji, Bajra bhava ma sameya savaha, Om Vajrasattva sameya, Manu palaya, Vajrasattva deno ba, Vajrsattva me bhava, Sudogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Nurektu me bhava, Sara siddhi me prayata, Sara karma satu me, Sitantriya guru hong, ha 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 ho bhagavan, Sara tata gata, Bajra bami maji, Bajra bhava ma sameya savaha, Om Vajrasattva sameya, manu palaya, Vajrasattva deno ba, Vajrsattva me bhava, Sudogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Anurektu me bhava, Sara siddhi me prayata, Sara karma satu me, Sitantriya guru hong, ha 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 ho bhagavan, Sara tata gata, Bajra bami maji, Bajra bhava ma sameya savaha, Om Vajrasattva sameya, manu palaya, Vajrasattva deno ba, Vajrsattva me bhava, Sudogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Nurektu me bhava, Sara siddhi me prayata. No. Om Vajrasattva sameya, manu palaya, Vajrasattva deno ba, Vajrsattva me bhava, Sudogayo me bhava, Zubogayo me bhava, Anurektu me bhava, Sara siddhi me prayata, Sara karma satu me, Sitantriya guru hong, ha 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 ho bhagavan, Sara tata gata, Bajra bami mansa, Bajri bhava maha sameya satvaha. Page 10. I and all sentient beings, deluded by our ignorance, have broken the vows. O Lama, Dorje Sampa, the protector, holder of the Vajra, Lord of all sentient beings, please protect us. Dorje Sempa is pleased with our prayers and replies, Your delusions are now cleared away and you are purified. Dorje Sempa then dissolves into light and is absorbed into myself through the top of my head. I then become Dorje Sempa. Meditate on the union of appearance and emptiness. So we visualize Dorje Sempa dissolving into light, dissolving into this heart center through our crown. So we have a short dissolution. This is the dissolution. We have a short meditation for this. So for 3 minutes. Take a deep breath. Fill your lungs with fresh, clean, pure air and hold that breath. Exhale through both nostrils. Hold that vacant breath. Breathe in again through both nostrils. Fresh, clean, pure air coming in. Exhale. Stale, negative, dark air going out. Breathe in one more time deeply. Hold it. Exhale. And relax. Breathe normal. Open your eyes. On page 11 is the dedication for the Vajrsattva practice. Through the virtue of this practice, may I achieve Dorje Sempa's great realization. To this state, may I come to lead every being, not one left behind. Dewa diyi nor dudag, Dorje Sempa drubgyurne, Jowa chikyang malupa, diyi salagopasho. So now, what we should have done before, when I skipped ahead, so if we go back to page 32 of the red text of the refuge text, and we'll just recite each of these prayers a short time. So the Sanskrit alphabet with the protection circle. One time. Om, a, I, u, ri, li, e, o, ang, a, kaka, gagana, zaza, zazana, tata, dadana, tata, dadana, papa, babama, yawalawa, sa, ka, saha, kriya, soha. And Om Yadharma Hetu Prabhava Hetu Tekan Tadagato Hewa Tatata Tekaso Yodorada Evamwadi Mashumani Soha. One time. And Om Vajrsattva Samaya Manu Palaya Vajrsattva Denopa Justa Dredo Mebawa Sutokayo Mebawa Subokayo Mebawa Nurektu Mebawa Sara Siddhi Meprayata Sara Karma Satsume Sitsantri Akuruhong Ho Bhagawan Saratata Gata Vajrabhami Mansi Vajribawa Ma Samaya Sattva. And page 35. Teata Penshajriwa Awo Bodhaneya Soha. Teata Penshajriwa Awo Bodhaneya Soha. Teata Penshajriwa Awo Bodhaneya Soha. English. This is it. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the 5 families in 3 times, who have destroyed all defilements, lead to equipoise of the enlightened mind. Om Ru Ru Daru Muki Muki Soha. Om Ru Ru Daru Muki Muki Soha. Om Ru Ru Daru Muki Muki Soha. The enlightened body, speech, and mind are the peaceful and wrathful deities, is the Buddha. Om Dai Dai Bendai Soha. Om Dai Dai Bendai Soha. Om Dai Dai Bendai Soha. The body, speech, and mind of the Buddha is the cause for enlightenment for all sentient beings. Om Hanubasha Bara Hridaya Soha. Om Hanubasha Bara Hridaya Soha. Om Hanubasha Bara Hridaya Soha. The bliss and strength in the heart center of the Buddha is equipoise. Om Ah Hong. 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 Om And then in the red text, page 37, the dedication prayers. This is the lineage dedication prayer in English only. Dorje Chang, Talopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dormilo Gampopa, Pagmadrupa, Lordri Kumpa. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessing of all the Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve the all-knowing state and may all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara by defeating all enemies, confusion, the cause of suffering. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn may it arise, where it is born may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri, the warrior, realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate word of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Sri Khompa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. Page 43. Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind root, Lama and lineage Lamas, divine assembly of Yidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yogins, Yoginis, and Dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions, please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate word of virtue, not result the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Sravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Mars and the hordes of demons, experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May the attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise even at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of the mind as such and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo. Om, Ah, Hom. Om, Ah, Hom. Om, Ah, Hom. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Lance.
You're welcome. Thank you. Sorry for my mistake tonight. One of many, I'm sure.
I wouldn't have even noticed it. It was perfect.
All right, well, good.
I was making mistakes of my own, so
So we were in good company then with each other, huh? Okay, good.